Hello everyone, welcome to my final look at sport this afternoon as Bafana Bafana face Zimbabwe in a hotly anticipated 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier this evening in Bloemfontein. It's a city that's known for its passion for the game, but sadly has been starved of professional football in recent times. Newzroom Afrika's Benjamin Leshoro is there at the moment to capture the mood for us. Benji, good to speak to you this afternoon. It's obviously a chilly day out in Bloem. Let's talk about this encounter this evening.
Hugo, good afternoon and good afternoon to the Newzroom Afrika viewers. It is chilly in Bloemfontein, but tell you what, there is nothing chilly about the mood since we got here yesterday. People, you can sense that there is something happening here in the City of Roses this evening, and it's going to happen a little bit later. But let's start with the history. On the 11th of June 2010, that's exactly 14 years to the day, arguably one of the proudest moments in South African sport, South African football. Bafana Bafana walked out and faced Mexico in the opening day or opening game of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, and it probably ranks only second to winning the Africa Cup of Nations back in 1996. 11 days later, Bafana Bafana came here at the Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein, and they faced France, a French team that contained the likes of Thierry Henry, Frank Ribéry, Nicolas Anelka. You'll remember them. Bafana Bafana beat them at this very same venue. And it then turned out to be Bafana Bafana's last ever match at the FIFA World Cup in 2010. So why not then return to the scene of one of the most glorious moments ever? Bafana Bafana then returned 14 years later to the Free State Stadium, a whole new generation of players all together, trying to get South Africa back into the World Cup. That would be the 2026 edition in the USA, Mexico, as well as Canada. If they finish the group, or if they win this match here this evening, they will go to top of Group C. But that's a little bit later. Behind me, Hugo, you can probably see that there's security personnel. The gates have opened around 45 to 50 minutes ago. Gates opened here around 3 o'clock. But that's not the story. Since we got here yesterday, and since from around this morning, 10 a.m. or so, already there were queues forming outside of the stadium at the ticket sales center. And I'm going to ask Tabo to just show you at the moment, there's still queues that are forming here. People still looking for tickets to get into the game. By last count, with the last update we were given at around 9:15 this morning, 27,222 tickets had been sold. Whoa. As I try to fend off some of the fans, excited of course, with Bafana Bafana coming to town. So 27,222 tickets had been sold, and obviously by now we would have long gone past the 30,000 threshold, and it looks like it might just be a sold out house here at the Free State Stadium come 6 o'clock kickoff, Hugo.
Benji, thanks for that history lesson. It's been absolutely enjoyable listening to you narrate Bafana Bafana's performances in Bloemfontein. But let's talk about what's happening on the field. What can we look forward to, the rivalry between these two neighbours?
Hugo, I got the opportunity to attend the press conference for Zimbabwe yesterday, and tell you what, they are not at all feeling like the underdog in this match. They're feeling like they're coming here to beat South Africa. That was the talk in the press conference for the Zimbabwean national team. So it's a tough match for Bafana Bafana. Coach Hugo Broos knows it, the players know it, and the way Group C of the African qualifiers has panned out, anyone can beat anyone. We saw Lesotho at some point in the last couple of days going top of the group themselves. Lesotho, Dikwene, they were top of the group. And then yesterday, Benin shocked Nigeria and went top of the group. Should Bafana Bafana win their match here, they go from 4 points to 7 points. And depending on how many goals they win by, Benin has 4 goals at the moment. Bafana Bafana could go on top of that because they have 3 goals to the good at the moment. But even if Bafana Bafana goes level on 4 points with Benin, South Africa would go top because we beat Benin in the opening game of the qualifiers. So the head-to-head record would obviously favor South Africa. So by around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we could be talking a different thing. South Africa, top of Group C of the African qualifiers, and would then have to wait for next year, 2025, to find out their fate as to whether they're going to the 2026 World Cup or not. Hugo, I don't know where your allegiances lie this evening, whether it's South Africa or it's Zimbabwe. Either way, you are the only person I know who's going to end up the winner at the end of the night.
Very well said, Benjamin Leshoro. But I want to, well, like those that have gone before me, I refuse to declare my allegiance either way. But let's talk about Bafana Bafana and the Warriors, stand-up players, who to look out for. There's obviously been some contention to Percy Tau being on that squad. Hugo Broos being taken to task. Who do we look out for on either side?
Well, I suppose it's a big game, Hugo. It's a World Cup qualifier. There is no time to be testing combinations. I know Coach Hugo Broos, I quizzed him about testing the central pairing partnership of Siyangezana and Mutobi Mvala in the Nigeria game on Friday, and that was necessitated by the absence of Grant Kekana, who played a lot at the AFCON, the Africa Cup of Nations, earlier this year. He partnered Mutobi Mvala there, but a hamstring injury just before the players got into camp made it impossible for him to be here. He toyed around with that combination, but I don't see him changing too much. There's been calls for some of the Orlando Pirates players to come into the team, especially young Relebohile Mofokeng. A lot of people would love to see him, and you can be sure that there's going to be a roar here in front of some of the fans of Bloem Celtic who love football, who love the type of football that Relebohile Mofokeng plays. If he gets a chance to play, we'll see. But the coach also spoke about Percy Tau and asked and made a call to all South Africans to just give him a breather, give him space to breathe, and asked that we don't put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the Al Ahly player.
Benjamin Leshoro and 30,000 other fans will be watching that encounter live tonight in Bloemfontein. Appreciate your time. The rest of us will be watching it glued to our television screens.